TV7 Israel News is made possible thanks to your generous donations. Shalom, good evening. This is TV7 Israel News broadcast to you from Jerusalem. And in today's top stories, Israel's war on terror elements in the West Bank districts of Judea, Samaria, and the Jordan Valley persist, as concrete intelligence indicates that Palestinian terror cells are actively trying to carry out attacks against Israelis. Greece condemns Turkey after President Recep Tayyip Erdogan threatened to bomb Athens over Greek military deployments in the Aegean Sea. Riyadh's foreign minister Faisal bin Farhan stresses that the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia would continue to have very strong engagements with the United States, all the while seeking to deepen its relations with China. Israel's war on terror elements in the West Bank districts of Judea, Samaria, and the Jordan Valley persist, as concrete intelligence indicates that Palestinian terror cells are actively trying to carry out attacks against Israelis. Consequently, as part of Operation Wadesbreaker, IDF, ISA or Shin Bet, and Border Police Special Operations units conducted counter-terrorism activity overnight, including in Judea, Samaria, and the Jordan Valley. As a result, the Israeli forces apprehended 15 suspected terror operatives and confiscated weaponry. And while exchanges of fire were cited, no injuries were reported among the Israeli troops. Meanwhile, following an initial military inquiry into an incident that occurred a day prior in which a 16-year-old Palestinian girl sustained fatal wounds from gunfire, the IDF acknowledged that it was highly likely that a teenager was hit by unintentional fire aimed at armed gunmen on a rooftop in the area from which an Israeli force was fired upon. It is important to explain that while a team of Hamas special operators were engaged in an arrest of a suspected terror operative, heavy gunfire and improvised explosive devices were directed at the Israeli force, which responded with live fire. Per the initial IDF investigation, the 16-year-old girl was apparently shot while standing on one of the rooftops next to the armed militants who fired upon the Israeli forces. Meanwhile, the family of the killed teen, who was laid to rest yesterday, blamed Israel for deliberately killing the girl.
قتلها الاحتلال، رصاص الاحتلال موجود وجيش الاحتلال بكى بعيد هون عن جنة تقريبا بس مسافة 500 متر هوائي العمارة اللي قبالها. كل الرصاص اللي طلع من العمارة نفسها وموجود. اجوا كاسوا ولكي رصاص منين طلع ورصاص من العمارة اللي كان متواجد فيها قناص قوات الاحتلال.
The IDF naturally deplored attempts to depict Israel as deliberately killing uninvolved civilians, dubbing these allegations as implausible and without foundation. Moreover, the IDF released a statement in which it highlighted that its commanders regret any harm to uninvolved civilians, including those who are in a combat environment and in close proximity to armed terrorists during exchanges of fire. Separately, Israel's outgoing defense minister Benny Gantz joined in voicing sorrow over any death of anyone not involved in terrorism.
ראשית, אני מבקש להביע צער על מותה, כמו על כל מוות של כל מי שלא מעורב בטרור, אם אכן כך היה. מדובר באירוע מעצר של חשודים בפיגועי ירי ובמעורבות והתארגנויות טרור במטרה לרצוח ישראלים. במהלך האירוע נורתה לכוחות אש מסיבית והושלחו מטענים ובקבוקי תבערה. בתגובה, הכוחות השיבו אש למקורות הירי מתוך הגנה עצמית. הנושא נמצא בתחקור, ואני יכול להבטיח לכם דבר אחד. בניגוד למי שיושבים על הצירים עם נשק, אבנים ובקבוקי תבערה, ומחכים להזדמנות לרצוח נערים ונערות ישראלים, נשים, זקנים וטף, חיילי צה"ל לא יורים במכוון לעבר אזרחים בלתי מעורבים.
Jerusalem's top defense official went on to assert that the Israeli defense establishment will continue to back its IDF troops, which will continue to battle terror wherever it attempts to hide.
צה"ל ימשיך לפעול לסיכול הטרור בכל מקום ובכל שעה, תוך הקפדה על הוראות הפתיחה באש, ולמפקדים ולחיילים יש גיבוי מלא להמשיך ולמלא את משימתם במקצועיות ובנחישות.
Outgoing Israeli Prime Minister Yair Lapid joined in voicing sorrow over the death of the Palestinian teenager and relayed his condolences to her family. Nevertheless, Lapid continued by emphasizing that the published findings of the IDF inquiry were initial and stressed that the security forces will continue to investigate the circumstances of this incident. Meanwhile, in Washington, U.S. State Department spokesman Ned Price expressed the Biden administration's profound condolences and voiced hope to see accountability in this case.
We do express our profound condolences to the family of Jana Zakaria, the young teenage girl who was killed. It is a tragic incident. It's a heartbreaking incident. Anytime you hear of a civilian being killed in these types of operations. We understand the IDF is undertaking an investigation into what happened. We hope to see accountability in this case. I did note that outgoing Prime Minister Lapid did offer his condolences to the family of Jana Zakaria, and we note that her tragic death comes in the context of the escalating violence in the West Bank that we've noted and lamented for some time now. It is this alarming increase in Palestinian and Israeli deaths and injuries, including injuries to numerous children, and now the death of a young Palestinian teenager. We reiterate the need for all parties to take steps to de-escalate the situation. It's vital that the parties themselves take urgent action to prevent even greater loss of life.
Price was separately asked about a threat leveled by Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan toward Greece earlier this week on Sunday, in which he highlighted that if Greece deploys weaponry, which it evidently procured from the United States in any of its islands in the Aegean Sea, Turkey could respond by launching ballistic missiles on its capital, Athens.
Well, look, we regret this escalation of provocative statements. It is especially regrettable at a time when unity and cooperation is needed most among our own NATO allies. We urge all of our allies to avoid threats and provocative rhetoric. All that an escalation of rhetoric will do is to raise tensions and to distract us from the unity of purpose that we need to confront any number of challenges, not the least of which, of course, is the threat that the alliance potentially faces from Russia, and of course, the ongoing active threat that the people of Ukraine face from Russian aggression.
Responding to the Turkish president's threat, Greek Foreign Minister Nikos Dendias highlighted ahead of the EU's foreign ministerial, which took place yesterday in Brussels, that Ankara's remarks as a NATO ally are both unacceptable and condemnable.
Είναι απαράδεκτο και καθολικά καταδικαστέο να διατυπώνονται απειλές για πυραυλική επίθεση εναντίον της Ελλάδας από σύμμαχο χώρα μέλος του ΝΑΤΟ. Οι νοοτροπίες Βόρειας Κορέας δεν μπορούν και δεν πρέπει να επισέλθουν στην Ατλαντική Συμμαχία.
It is important to explain that President Erdogan made his threatening remarks as Ankara is increasingly frustrated by what it sees as a growing Greek military buildup on islands close to its coastline and Western military support to fellow NATO member Greece, with which Ankara has long-running territorial disputes. These frictions have escalated in recent years as Turkey mobilized its navy to claim rights over potential maritime resources in the eastern Mediterranean Sea. Greece, on the other hand, has repeatedly called on Turkey to stop questioning its sovereignty over the Dodecanese, the group of islands off the Turkish coast, including Rhodes and Kos. Turning to Saudi Arabia, where Riyadh's foreign minister Faisal bin Farhan stressed that the kingdom would continue to have very strong engagements with the United States, all the while seeking to deepen relations with China, Riyadh's greatest economic partner as well.
We are very much focused on cooperation with all parties, and I think competition is a good thing. So we are in a competitive marketplace. We have to compete as the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia with a number of economies, and we compete very actively, and we have a very detailed strategy, Vision 2030, to make the country's economy more competitive. Part of that drive to being a competitive economy is cooperating and being open to cooperating with as many partners as possible. So we feel it absolutely necessary that we are fully engaged with the largest economy in the world, which is the US, which is our traditional strategic partner, and we will continue to have a very strong engagement with the US. On the other hand, China, as the second largest economy in the world, as our largest trading partner, will continue to play an important role in our plans, in our progress towards economic diversification away from oil, in building a larger, stronger, more resilient economy. So we will continue to work with all of our partners, and we don't see it as a zero-sum game by any means. We see it as a normal part of building a large and sustained economic environment.
The remarks by the top Saudi diplomat were made after Chinese President Xi Jinping met with Gulf Arab leaders in Riyadh, during which the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and China heralded a new strategic partnership pact that would see Beijing's role in the region significantly amplified. Thank you for watching TV7 Israel News. I would like to encourage you, pray for our persecuted brothers and sisters worldwide, as well as for the peace of Jerusalem and salvation of Israel. Jonathan Hassan wishing you an Erev Mevorach, and God willing, we'll see you again tomorrow at the same time.